So this whole idea of gift giving, that's something that is a big focus of the consumer psychology, consumer behavior, studying that. What is it? It's this ritual that we engage in every year, and we get, it's so important to us. We focus on finding the perfect gift because gifts really symbolize our relationship. So, you give something more personal to people who you're closer to. You give something a little bit less personal to, your boss or your colleagues, for example. There's certain taboo gifts. You're not going to give lingerie to your colleagues. So gift giving is really one of these symbolic activities that has, it's existed in human society for so long. We just take it now in consumer society to extreme heights. It's a competitive sport, and so people really do focus on getting good deals, getting the perfect gift, etc. Consumer behavior is understanding some of the determinants that drive what we do as consumers. So we are constantly consuming throughout our day. We consume media, we consume goods and services, from the moment we wake up to the time we go to bed. And consumer behavior is aimed at studying what are the things that drive that. It's an applied discipline that draws from, decades and decades of understanding of the human mind and the human in society. I think some people do treat it as a sport and they enjoy the whole process. Then there are other people that really just want to give good gifts. They want to, solidify relationships, show people that they're thinking about them and caring about them. One area of research that I work in is the area of narrative persuasion. So looking at how we see stories and stories influence us. Some of the research I've recently been doing suggests that if we attach a story to a product, it increases the perceived value of that product. So I could take a tchotchke from a thrift store, shot glass, matchbook, and ask you how much you'd pay for it. And you might get $1 or $2 or a few cents. If I tell you the story behind that product, that increases your willingness to pay exponentially. This semester in the consumer behavior class I'm teaching, I'm really excited about, and I think the students are excited about it too. We're actually applying consumer behavior in one of these contexts that doesn't necessarily spring to mind readily. We often think about retailers, shopping online, etc. But voting is actually a huge consumer behavior. You are, giving your vote for this product, right? Politicians are products. We're buying a bundle of, attributes, things that they represent and stand for, policies that they say they will give us in exchange for their vote. So particularly around this time, consumers are driven by emotion. And this is true year-round, but here where tensions are high, where we've got relationships, hanging in the balance, where goods are scarce, where we feel time crunch, we feel pressure, consumers tend to behave in a more emotional manner. And the advice that I'd give is to step back, take a breath, realize it's going to be okay if you don't get the perfect present, if you don't get the deepest discount. That's okay. Your friends and family are still going to love you.